This is Stephen A. Williams, President and founder of the CreditRepairShop.com, and in today's video, we're going to answer some of the YouTube questions. We have one here that's asking about they have Experian Bureau doesn't seem to be responding to the letters that they're sending, and it says that they've done it multiple times. It looks like they're no longer looking into the matter, where they'll say that it just seems like it's a frivolous dispute. What you got to do is you have to change the verbiage. You have to also probably look at like breaking down what you disagree with the actual item that that you're having a problem with, especially if it was removed from the other ones. Some of the times, what we'll find is that the bureaus don't always go through and check everything. Like it's one of the uh, crazy things that we go through as a credit repair company, is things that you will go through as an individual. Everybody thinks that if you send a letter to them, that they're just going to automatically just do what the law states that they have to do. But it's, some of the times you just never know whose hands it gets into at the Bureau, and if they actually do put it into the process to get it reviewed, or if it just goes into a pile where they just say that it was verified and they're not going to do anything about it. Also, there could be certain triggers in the words that you use that will trigger a code to where it's going to automatically say it's verified. So it really, with this whole thing, is that you have to look at the reasoning behind why you want to get that item corrected or removed, and then you can start looking at some different strategies and processes to work on it. Another question we had here was a person had a bankruptcy. They know that the LexisNexis gives the bankruptcy information over to the three major credit reporting agencies: TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. And LexisNexis gets the personal data for bankruptcies from Pacer, and Pacer is where the courts put all of the information on. So they were asking a question on how can they, if when they contact LexisNexis, they're telling them that they don't, they didn't get the information. They're just, pulling it through from somewhere else. And so what you have to do is you have to go to Pacer. You usually have to have a Pacer account, but you have to at least tell Pacer that you do not want any of your private information to be shared. It's going to probably be something hard to do because anything that happens in court is considered public information, but you can put a lock on your LexisNexis to potentially have your information blocked from being fed up to the three major credit reporting agencies. Next question here said, with court summons, it said, what if you're a senior citizen on Social Security? You should notify the debt collector or the original creditor right away that you're on Social Security, because that's going to exempt you from being able to be garnished, and they're not going to want to usually not want to go ahead and proceed with the court case because they're not going to be able to get anything. So you have to notify, you have to call and tell them, because if you don't call and tell them, they're just going to go at it as if they, like you're hiding money, or they know that you're going to be able to pay in the end. But if you call them, especially if they're trying to collect it for the original creditor, you have a very good chance of where they're not going to continue with it, because they're not going to want to keep paying a lawyer to come after you and knowing that they're not going to get the money. So you need to notify them right away about that. Uh, we had someone here that had Santander, which I thought that all the Santander information was gone. Well, I mean, was over, but it looks like someone had just put on here. Here we go. This was 3 days ago. I received a check from this settlement. I was informed that I should receive loan forgiveness for their Santander loan. They removed it from my credit reports, but when I received the check, they put the defaulted loan back on my credit reports. How do I get it removed? You just use the information that they had. You can also write to them to get that in writing. You can use a copy of the letter that you got from the settlement administrator also to get that information removed off of your reports. This was just probably, well, it has to be placed on there on accident because they're giving you loan forgiveness, and part of the settlement was to remove that off of your credit reports, which they did, and then it happened to go in on another batch to get put back on there. But I'm pretty sure that was an accident from what had happened with that. Let's see here. Next one. Uh, some people talked about the soft pool. Some people actually said that they got approved. They're saying, what is the average score required to get approved on a soft pool? The way that they're really looking at it on the soft pool is, and they all had their different scores. I think that 645, 650, 660s is the range that people from the ones that I've seen get approved. There's probably some that go a little bit lower, but the charge amount, the credit available credit is going to be smaller depending on the lower the score. But there's so much competition with these little cards that are out there. And the one from this video was the Walgreens card, and they have one in the store, and then they have one that's also where you can use anywhere. And also, when I was at a Walgreens today, and when I was checking out, it gave me the offer to accept the Walgreens card, and I didn't accept that. So they're really trying to push to get that card pushed out there. And with the Walgreens card, they have up to $3,000 available in on what they're doing on their card. And they have this, and remember, it's two types of cards. They have one that you can only use in Walgreens, and they have one that you can use anywhere. Let's see here. Here's another one here. It said that when COVID hit, I decided to let go of my car, and the lender told me that if you couldn't pay it anymore because he lost his job. I kept getting calls from the collector. Now I owe 16,000. When you lost, um, when you get a car back, regardless if you give it back or they come and take it, it's still a repo. It doesn't change the fact that it was a repo. And what you're gonna have to do now is you need to go through the process of first having them give you a copy of the auction receipt. Number two, get your original contract, if especially if it was from one of the companies that do uh, subprime loans. They could have some type of insurance on there that would either pay a certain amount of the payments or would actually pay the car off or the blue book value of the car off. So you may not even owe as much as you might think. And then worst case scenario is that if you even with the 16,000, because there's no collateral on the vehicle and you lost your job, you had a financial uh, hardship, you could try to work out a settlement where you either made payments, but not for 16,000. I'm talking about somewhere like $2,000 or $3,000 is what you should be trying to negotiate as a settlement. Don't get into a payment plan of paying $16,000 on a car that you don't have anymore. Let's see here. Someone had put a put a statement about the payday loans. I talked about one of the YouTube, or no, this was a customer that came to us and they were being sued by a payday loan company, and the payday loan company had the interest rate, I believe, was 682% for the payday loan. And we had looked up the laws in that state, and it said that they could not even charge that amount, but it was one of the online only payday loan companies. It wasn't one that has like a storefront. and they were suing him in court. And what we ended up doing is writing a response on that. And when we were writing a response, we had found out that they were actually overcharging, and something else that they couldn't do is that they couldn't make consecutive loans in the same month. That was something that they also violated. And the way that we were able to find that out is that when they did their court summons, they included a copy of the contract, and they probably didn't expect uh, the client of ours to be able to have access to the information that showed that payday loan was not supposed to be charging that interest rate, and that they wasn't supposed to be they can't recycle a loan more than one time per month in their state. Some states have it different, where you can do it you maybe can do it two times, but they don't want people to do that too many times, because every time that they reset it, they'll put all of the interest on as it'll become principal. So if you had $1,000 loan, say you paid, you paid $100 payment, but when they're charging 600%, your interest rate on that is going to probably be like, almost $400 or $500. And so when they're going to stack that interest on top. So it's like you're getting a loan for $1,500 when you originally only got in your hand $1,000, and you're going to be paying 682% on $1,500 now moving forward, rather than paying it on $1,000 and being able to pay it down. So that's why they don't let customers continually come in and reset those loans. Now, some states don't have a minimum on it, but this state that we were looking at, it was Missouri, they had where you can only do it one time per month, because they knew that at that interest rate, that how much the person, if they were to do that more than two times in a month, they would actually, it would look like they actually got $2,000 in their hand, because that would be the principal amount, when they only really did get a loan for $1,000. And they would still be paying interest on the 2,000 at 682%. So that's why they made that rule. Someone here placed that they didn't show up when they got a subpoena to go to court to produce and appear. Her name was spelled wrong on the paperwork, and that they had an illegal eviction. Well, the first thing is that you got to go to court. You can't not show up. If you don't show up, you're putting everything into the debt collector's hand. And if you're saying that uh, it was an illegal eviction, how do you fight it? Well, the first place that you fight is to go to court. And so right now, what you need to do is to see if you can open it up, because they probably got a default judgment against you. And if they didn't, and somehow you got lucky and they just gave them another date, and allowing you more time to show up, you need to show up, and you need to have all of your um, paperwork showing that you had an illegal eviction. Landlord illegally kicked you out of the place. Okay, someone here said if a creditor does what is called a profit and loss write-off, what that means, I owe if I can prove everything. My understanding is a profit and loss write-off sent a 1099-C to the IRS, correct? How can they try to collect twice? They can't collect twice. If they do a 1099-C, they can't collect twice. So you do have to watch out for that. Some of the times what I see happen is that debt is sold in packages, and some of the times the company didn't remember that a certain amount of that debt was sent off on a 1099-C. Uh, and that they don't, I don't think original creditors don't do it intentionally. You can find some debt collectors that have done it intentionally where they did the write-off at the end of the year and then they resold the debt to another debt collector that was, that would attempt to try to come after that debt. But if you get a 1099-C, you will not have to pay that debt at all. You're just going to have to pay on the taxes if you even end up having to pay on the taxes because you can get a write-off on that. Here's someone here said they paid Marquette. They sent a paid in full to Cohen Law Office. However, Cohen Law Office is still trying to garnish me with the debt that was paid off. All you have to do is just notify them. This is a situation where they may not have gotten the paperwork process in their office. Remember, they're not just coming after you. They're going after a lot of people, and sometimes people can misplace paperwork, and or the original uh, creditor didn't notify them. The one thing that I would be um, that that's kind of where I don't understand is it said that you paid Marquette. They sent a paid in full to Cohen Law Office. However, Cohen is still trying to garnish with that. But it's probably something where you just have to, send them a certified letter asking them why are they still trying to sue you when you have a letter saying that it was paid in full and that they sent the paid in full to their office. Someone said that we have opportunities um, for authorized user trade lines. We do, and we also have primary trade line service available where you'll get credit coaching, credit repair, and primary trade line. Or if you just need the coaching and the primary trade line, we have that available. The link is below this video. All right, so we're going to end the video here. If you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, What Makes Us Different. That shows our 8-point validation process and 2-phase settlement process. If you need your credit reports and scores, go to the website your3scores.com. That's where you can get all 3 reports, all 3 scores, and it's going to have all of the information from furnishers. So if you need to get their addresses to make sure you're sending information to the address that is listed from the furnisher on your reports. A lot of these companies have different addresses, and if you don't get it to the right address, it may not even get disputed with the furnisher properly. And then if you need my cease and desist collection activities letter, statute of limitations letter, or the debt validation letter, those links are below this video. And again, we have our primary trade line service with coaching service that is available. That link is below here. If you have debt collectors trying to sue you in court, the link below here, there's a video that'll show you what you can do to give yourself the best opportunity to either get it dismissed or to get it settled at a good discount. All right, thanks for your time. This is Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com.